Welcome to Stargate SG1 for the first time. Still not a Star Trek podcast. My name is Jeff Aiken, and I'm watching Stargate SG1 for the first time.
And I'm Brent Allen, and I'm watching Stargate SG1 for the 47th time. Not the first time, the 47th time, but for the first time, I am watching this show trying to pull the messages out. I'm not just watching it for fun, I'm watching it for analysis, trying to find out, where is Stargate holding up a mirror to society? Where is it giving us hope that things can be better in the future? And how does it tell us just how to be better human beings to one another?
We're going to find out about that today. We're watching the 4th episode of the 4th season, Crossroads. Last week, when you told me this was our episode, I made my prediction, and I think that we're going to see Jack's love interest from 100 Days, Lara, show up, and she's going to be at this crossroads and basically leave Jack forever to tie a bow on a story that only needs a bow because I think it needs a bow.
You're not the only one who thinks it needs a bow.
It really does, doesn't it?
You're not. I have long felt that as well. The distance in time from when that whole episode happened with Jack and the girl and everything to even now is with one mention in the intervening time. One mention. Jack goes to the planet and then turns around and leaves.
Yeah.
Without saying hi. It's just inexcusable the way that because it ended so great.
It was perfect.
It was great.
It was
anyway.
Yeah.
Anyway, you're a good guesser, Jeff.
Hey, thanks. We'll find out about that here pretty soon. Why don't you? I
will tell you, you are not correct, but you are closer than you think.
Really? Okay.
I'm not going to tell you why. I'm not going to tell you how. You're going to find out in just a few moments.
Awesome. Before we start that, though, I'm curious. Tell me about when did this episode come out? Any cool facts?
Yeah, this was 4th episode, season 4. Original air date, at least here in America, July 21st, right in the middle of the summer, in the year 2000. This one is directed by Peter DeLuise, so we got another cameo to look for. Our longstanding guy. Here's a hint. He's a Jaffa that gets punched out by Teal'c.
Okay. Oh, fun. Fun.
Take a look for it. This one, though, Jeff, is written. I don't usually pull out these, but I feel like I'm doing this more and more lately. It's just because we're getting to know the names more. But this one is written by our dear old friend, the very hit or miss, Catherine Powers.
Oh, yeah. Hit or miss is the way to describe her episodes for sure.
Now, Jeff, I will tell you the time has come for the end of the road with Miss Powers. This is her final episode as a writer on Stargate SG1. She'll be back for one more episode in the future with the story credit, but not the writing credit.
Okay. She's come to her crossroads.
Yeah, this is pretty much it. Meet you at the crossroads.
Which got blocked on YouTube twice now. That's
well, yeah. Anyway, with that, I got nothing else to tell you other than let's go watch this episode, man. Hey, listen, if you guys are joining us for the very first time, first of all, welcome. You're amazing. Every episode is somebody's first time. So here's how this works. Jeff and I are going to go watch this episode right now. We didn't watch it before now and take notes and come here to talk about it. No, we're going to watch it right now. If you're hanging out with us on YouTube, you're going to get to stick around. You're going to watch our reaction video. If you want the full unedited version of that reaction, head over to our Patreon page at patreon.com.
Bad nerds.
With a slash in between there somewhere.
Somewhere in there. If you're listening to us on a podcasting app, we're about to meet you on the other side as we gate into the future. And you'll get to hear my for the first time reaction. You'll hear Brent's sci-fi messages that he finds in this one. And Brent, I have a lot on my mind, but at this moment, I'm at a crossroads. So let's dive in.
Let's get it.
We're receiving Bray'tac's IDC, sir.
Bray'tac! Awesome!
Bray'tac.
That ain't Bray'tac.
Not Bray'tac. This is where I need to Jack to be like, Bray'tac, you've changed.
Bray'tac.
Oh.
You've done something with your hair. Identify yourself.
I am Shonok of the Red Hills. Master Bray'tac opened the Shapa but was unable to accompany me.
Why is that?
There is much unrest. He took great risk in sending me here.
Oh no. Don't kill him off camera.
Shonok. Friend of yours?
Indeed.
Remember my wife? Yeah, we're going to forget about her. Here's Shonok.
This is very like Spock and what's her name?
Savick.
Yeah, no, the other one.
It was Savick, Star Trek 3. Or
no, the other one.
T'Pring.
T'Pring, yeah, that's the one.
How about a little introduction of some sort.
There is no need.
Jack's just like, come on.
Bray'tac has told me much of the Tari.
Is that
You
Peter
are
DeLuise?
Teal'c's apprentice.
Yeah. Apprentice.
Also a warrior of great skill and cunning.
Apprentice.
Teal'c's apprentice.
Hammond of Texas. A great and strong leader among humans.
What can we do for you?
You must take me to the Tok'ra immediately. I have
Doesn't smell like a
information that
rat.
could destroy the Goa'uld.
Or do you have information that can destroy the Tok'ra? I'll just ask these guys to take me. They'll trust me because Teal'c's there. And
Well, Teal'c's in love with not his wife.
yeah, that was pretty on the nose.
Way to communicate with my symbiote.
Is that possible?
It is not.
It is not.
That is what we were trained to believe, Teal'c. The Goa'uld have no wish for the Jaffa to influence their young.
That makes sense.
How then was this communion achieved?
Within a deep state of Kalnarim.
Well, we know that the symbiote is completely isolated from the Jaffa who carries it. How can there be communication?
Medically speaking, the symbiote acts almost like an internal organ.
What do you talk about?
I have convinced it that the Goa'uld are evil. That its own desires for power and domination are wrong.
I know I'm just the apprentice at this table, but...
Why then not instruct the symbiote to deliver these secrets directly?
Exactly.
We do not communicate in words. It is more feelings, images, memories. It'll only be fully capable of communicating the knowledge it was born with once it takes a host.
And since you've convinced it that the Goa'uld are evil, it will only take a willing host.
It is most urgent.
Your symbiote is ready to take a host even now.
It has already passed its time. You have my word that it will harm no one. I have convinced it to wait.
I'm with
Once
Jack.
a Goa'uld larva leaves the body, the Jaffa's immune system stops functioning. You're putting yourself at great risk.
I believe that risk is worth taking. If you would take me to the Tok'ra immediately.
We can't do that, I'm sorry.
You do not believe I speak the
He
truth.
straight up said no.
No, it's not
Then we don't believe you.
We do not. What you say cannot be proven.
I think what Teal'c's trying to say is that
I have said precisely what I intended, O'Neill.
A power play there by Teal'c, making sure
okay, then
Shanak
I guess what I'm trying to
understands.
say is we'd like to believe you. We really would.
You
but
have
we-
my word.
And
Yeah, right? It's not enough.
But that is not enough.
No.
Then the secrets of the Goa'uld will die with me.
Shanak, please understand.
I do understand, General Hammond. Bray'tac was wrong about the wisdom of the Tari.
Shanak. Airman, do not.
there's a lot of dying about to happen.
I'm going to be like, no, you shoot that thing now.
Dead, dead, dead.
Yeah. Look at, he's like a snake charmer, dude.
Dr. Fraser, you may now approach.
Stared it back down.
We need to get.
I like how her clothes are miraculously re-sewn back together.
It's the power of the symbiote.
I'm not sure how much longer the symbiote will remain before it has no choice but to seek out a new host. That is, its primal instinctual behavior. I may have to recommend quarantine, sir.
And it needs a host to survive, right? Or be in
Absolutely.
some fluid thing.
Sir?
Actually, Jeff, now that you say, I'm not sure. I'm not like, I know that the larval Goa'uld need to be in like the little liquidy thing,
Mm-hmm.
but I'm not sure about an adult Goa'uld.
Yeah.
If they have to have, can they survive on their own without a host, or do they have to take a host? Like I don't know that they absolutely have to. Like they could just be, rolling around out there.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Maybe. I don't think they've said so
There's,
far, at least.
I promise you right now in the comments, there are people who are saying it on both sides. And they're
Yeah.
saying it with 100% certainty. Like, oh, they have to. I'm like, I don't. My guess, I'm trying to put together all my personal knowledge of the Goa'uld. I feel like they should be able to survive without a host. But
So-
the host, once a host is taken,
Mm-hmm.
the symbiote could choose to kill the host
Yeah.
before leaving them, or not, as we've since learned.
Mm-hmm.
But the Jaffa for sure have to have the symbiote in order to stay alive, and baby ones have to stay there as well.
Yeah.
So
If I use my Star Trek knowledge, that people love that we bring up, because this is not a Star Trek podcast, but the Teal'c are able to live on their own separately.
Oh, we were talking about adults.
The Teal'c and symbiotes. Yeah. So like a symbiotic relationship, you'd think they need each other once that's established, right? But we saw in Deep Space Nine, the Teal'c, and in Discovery, both, we saw they can exist. But like the Teal'c had to be, I think every time they showed them, they were in those pools in the caves.
Yeah. Yeah.
And we've seen the Jaffa, and I think they were larval Jaffa that we saw who were in the
not Jaffa, Goa'uld.
Oh, Goa'uld. Yeah. The symbiotes, actually. Yeah. So yeah, the larval symbiotes.
Yeah.
Because they're not Goa'uld. Goa'ulds are a choice. They're a faction.
Ooh. Right. Or are they?
Cool. All right. You're not born a Goa'uld. It's a choice. Oh man, that's sorry. I'm honestly sorry if I triggered anybody with that.
Are you born a Tok'ra?
Right? Are you? No.
Or do you have Tok'ra thrust upon you? It's a nice little wicked reference for anyone out there. All right, here we go.
Bray'tac is wise. I do not know why he would have sent you here unless...
He believes, Teal'c.
She killed Bray'tac after he opened up
How can I make
the gate.
Believe too.
There is a way.
If that's how they killed Bray'tac, I'm going to be pissed.
Master
There's a
Teal'c.
way to prove it.
Master Teal'c.
I am in need of your assistance.
I'm here to serve.
Wonder if it's a hard thing for Teal'c to ask for help.
I bet it is.
You know?
Especially his first prime, right? Like
In the deepest levels of Kelnoreen, the heart beats in extremely long intervals. It is even possible to meditate so deeply that one may stop the heart altogether.
This has lots of
Practice
vibes
is
of like
forbidden.
Worf going through
Wouldn't
some
your
old
symbiote try to
Klingon
start it
ritual.
up again?
That is correct. According to Teal'c, it is only at this time communion between Jaffa and symbiote is possible.
so he's going to try it.
Near-death experience.
Put it to the
Correct.
test.
Is it dangerous?
Or a really awesome trip on shrooms.
But there are some of those.
Jack, he's stopping his heart. I mean, for us.
I am unsure of what will occur if and when communion with my symbiote is achieved. It may be necessary to restrain me.
You know, I'm a person who meditates frequently, and like the way it's portrayed in television, it's just like so very different than reality. I wish it worked the way it does on TV sometimes. Did Apophis execute him? Oh my gosh, I would love this. I mean, it'd be horrible, but
Who is that, Jeff?
I don't recognize him.
You should.
I should.
You've seen him multiple times before.
Have I?
Medical emergency, Teal'c's quarters. Shonak is telling the truth.
Yes.
You challenge the gods themselves and won. Among many on Teal'c, you are as revered as the gods once were.
You're married, Teal'c.
And yet you walk away.
My place is here.
Is he?
Is it? Bray'tac cannot be expected to bear the burden alone.
He's not.
It was you who first began walking this path. Do not abandon those who have followed you this far.
I have abandoned no one.
When I die, and you are the only one capable of teaching others what I have learned, what will you do then?
Do not concern yourself with me.
I have all but given my life for a cause that you inspired.
Shakri.
Jeff, say that to your wife next time she's popping off at you.
Right, yeah, see how that goes.
When you touched the mind of your symbiote,
Told her.
what did it show you?
I fear losing you a second time.
No,
You never lost me, Teal'c.
never again.
I guess his wife was with Dude, right? That other guy. So
I mean, they had the marriage annulled so that she could marry that guy, right?
Mhm.
Like,
so she could take off the Sholva.
yeah.
Thanks to Teal'c.
But also,
Getting it.
I never felt like Teal'c or Bray'tac really like legally it may have been done, but I never really felt like
It was like, this is going to help and protect you, but
Teal'c's got that look on his face like
Morning.
we know what just happened.
Shonak?
He's
Like,
like,
carrying a
it's been
symbiote
a
past
while.
its time is extreme.
you're glowing.
Shonak bears it well.
I can't imagine.
She bears it very well.
breakfast.
Little thing at the bottom. 43 seconds later.
Could you stop walking?
No, actually, I can't stop walking. So much dopamine running through me right now.
Right.
Is everything all right?
It's great.
Yes.
It's real good.
Because I just noticed that you've been, preoccupied lately, obviously, and well, I'm kind of going on a limb here asking, but I just thought if you wanted to talk, that I was here to Teal'c.
Aw.
Daniel Jackson, if all Jaffa can be taught to commune with their symbiotes, then the days of the Goa'uld are truly numbered.
We just got word from the Toker. They've accepted Shinnok's offer.
When may we depart?
Now, Colonel O'Neill's waiting for us in the gear up room.
The gear up room.
Yeah, I never heard it called that before.
Yeah. I think we usually call it the locker room.
Oh, wow. We're going on location.
To a matte painting.
Shinnok of the Red Hills, welcome to Varash. Your father asked that I shake your hand and give Colonel O'Neill a big kiss from him.
That might have been the other way around.
Maybe. Is Freya in there?
Of course, Colonel. Then it is true. Host and symbiote share the body equally.
And we are both pleased to tell you good news. As you requested, Teal'c, one of our operatives has retrieved a newly spawned symbiote to replace that which Shinnok offers.
You have done this for me?
It's kind of a big deal.
If you truly have turned your symbiote to the Tok'ra cause, then your life is more valuable than any of ours.
He said something, and I want to make sure we note this because I want to talk about it later, but it comes under your spot. But she said something real interesting. Here you have effectively a Goa'uld looking at a Jaffa saying, your life, potentially, your life is more important than any of ours.
Mm-hmm.
That's pretty profound when you think about that, you know? Only truly highlights the difference between the Goa'uld and the Tok'ra. But
yeah, having that humility.
Yeah. But I just want to point that out because if I don't, we're going to lose it later. And even in my notes, I don't think I would have a spot to bring it up in the course of the talk. So, but I've never heard that before. And like that strikes me as like, wow, that's
huge.
Yeah. Actually, I think I take that back. I think I got a spot to talk about that very specifically.
We were able to find a host, both willing and eager.
It must be done now.
We are not yet ready for the transference.
It can wait no longer. Teal'c.
God, that just sounds gross.
I am ready.
Bring it.
Dude.
Take me.
Right through the front of the neck.
Yeah.
Not the mouth,
just a little,
not the back of the neck, but like
just a few inches.
Colonel O'Neill, lower your weapon. The transference is complete.
Transference? That's what you call that?
Shinnok.
I still halfway expect this guy to like start blasting. I still don't fully buy this.
There was no more time.
Cut.
Shinnok's life was in grave danger. I had to act.
At least he cares about her. Like,
It is my honor to pledge my allegiance to the Tok'ra.
Teal'c's like, great. Can we get the Primta into this lady now?
It is true. It is a strange feeling, but I am very much here.
Like, dude, this is awesome. I know so much.
Tanith wants you to know that we will submit to any test you may wish to perform to assure you that I am speaking freely as host. Rest assured, Tanith is pure of heart. Shinnok was indeed a great teacher.
Good. And maybe Tanith wouldn't mind sharing some of that fine Goa'uld knowledge.
Of course.
When the time is appropriate.
How do I hang up with the niece and talk to Freya?
Why?
I like Freya.
She and I are in complete agreement.
How do I know that?
I have told you.
And I'm supposed to trust you? You know, this whole talking to two people in one body thing really sucks.
Teal'c, I sense that she is still very weak.
Her new symbiote is extremely young for the task of healing her.
So she's still tired from that time you and she.
More risk than necessary.
See, here's what should happen is Teal'c needs to give her his symbiote because that's stronger and a little older. Let him take the younger one. Let the symbiote heal him up, and then they can switch later or just
whatever.
Stay.
Yeah.
Tell General Hammond how the Tok'ra boned us again.
Gives him a little longer and a reason to come back. He's like, we got a moment. Let's
Somebody's on the other side going.
I must inform the Tari of my intention to leave their service.
I could not wait to speak with you.
Is this where the other shoe drops?
Why do you just think that there's another shoe?
There's always another shoe.
You must speak your audacity.
I do not.
Because he would know her plans.
How dare a priestess touch the mind of one who would be her god?
I despise the Goa'uld.
I am the Goa'uld.
But I showed you the.
You shall me the means to destroy the Tok'ra. Now accept your reward.
Yes. I feel like I called it.
The ability, okay.
It is with much sadness that I must take my leave of the SGC.
Oh, Teal'c.
I intend to live the remainder of my life on Teal'c.
What on earth for?
Do you not recognize the greatness of Shinnok's achievement?
I think the point is that if the whole idea was to get the secrets of the Goa'uld into the hands of the Tok'ra...
And us, oh, by the way.
Then it's done. Mission accomplished.
You belong here.
I belong where I am needed most, O'Neill. And that is on Teal'c at Shinnok's side.
But not Dray'tac.
Oh, they're gonna light a fire in Teal'c. This is not gonna end well for Tanith.
Teal'c, it is with great sorrow that I return.
He's gonna rip
And a lot more clothing.
We found the body just outside her chamber. The symbiote she carried is also dead.
Oh.
She appeared well.
Shinnok's death is simply the unfortunate result of waiting too long.
Well played by Tanith.
Uh-huh.
Oh.
Makes you wonder what he did to the symbiote to not just like...
Yeah, because he didn't have a hand wavy thing. He just had his hand.
Well, but we didn't see where his other hand went.
Oh, yeah, good.
I mean, remember what happened with Kronos and Teal'c's dad, right?
Yeah.
Like,
Goosh, goosh.
I wanted Teal'c to have the body for whatever spiritual ritual he may wish to perform.
Still! What's up?
Shinnok was murdered.
he knows.
You folks should invest in some doors.
We have no secrets from each other.
Like they do on B5.
I have reason to believe the Goa'uld Shinnok carried was not truly convinced to become a Tok'ra.
And so you have come to exact revenge.
Heck yes.
I'm sorry. We cannot allow you.
Stop me. Yep.
Stop him!
He clotheslined that dude, man.
Fireman's carry, Death Valley driver. How many Tok'ra does it take to stop Teal'c?
And take the Goa'uld out of the host.
No. It will be infinitely more valuable to us if we do not.
But the host...
You knew.
If we control what he sees and hears, the Goa'uld will never know our true intentions. We will be able to use that advantage for months. When Tanith no longer serves a useful purpose, we will extract what Goa'uld secrets we can in other ways.
What about the host?
There you go.
He knew well the risks. When we have learned all that we can, we will try to remove the Goa'uld. We are fighting a war for our very existence. I make no apologies for the means.
That's tough. She's not wrong.
Mm-hmm.
Hates it, but knows it.
Except the host. What about the host?
He's just chilling in his room. Just, Dark Jedi. Teal'c's gonna play along.
You'd think there's just something so fundamentally different between a Tok'ra and a Goa'uld. It'd be much harder for Goa'uld to pretend to be a Tok'ra.
Maybe.
Hello, Teal'c.
Like they're so arrogant. They're so...
You must feel the pain of Shinnok's death as deeply as I do. I hope one day we will meet again, Teal'c.
Oh, we will.
And together remember she who meant so much to both of us.
We will meet again. You have my promise.
Yeah. I love it. They both know exactly what's up, but nobody's... Oh, this is good. Dude, he pissed off Teal'c. That was not... Oh, man. The good news for him is he knows how he's going to die now.
Yeah. You know what I love about that, Jeff?
Huh.
Where they ended it.
Yeah.
Like, they did not put a bow on it. They didn't put a period on it. Does it not feel like a cliffhanger?
No, that's the thing. Like, yes and no.
Right.
Because it's wrapped. It's done. And Teal'c's totally not done.
Oh, yeah. Precisely. Well, Jeff, you and I have just watched this episode, Crossroads. You for the very first time, me for the 47th time. Jeff, take us through. What was your first time experience watching this episode, Crossroads?
Can you say Crossroads again?
Crossroads.
This was a much more lore-packed episode than I thought it was going to be.
Yeah.
Like, we're maybe halfway through, and I'm like, this is an interesting story. There's cool stuff happening. And then, like, just this deep dive on lore happened. So kind of up to that point, I was interested just in who's this lady, right? And why is she, the relationship between her and Teal'c was interesting and just some things. But when it was when the Tok'ra showed up, when Freya and her symbiote showed up, like we got the deep dive. And so we learned about Queen Egeria. Is that, Egeria?
Yeah.
Queen Egeria, who was basically the mother of the Tok'ra.
Yeah.
And I found this fascinating. I'm just going to go down a couple of things that I thought were just really interesting lore things we learned. Most of the Tok'ra are her children that she had, like the original Tok'ra, and they've existed for thousands of years. Very few Goa'uld or their symbiotes have ever joined them. So, like,
without sarcophagus size.
Yeah. They're just going host to host and then probably dying time to time when they can't find hosts or things happen to them. And we saw in the Tok'ra a really a really surprising level of humility where they were able to see the value of I've lost her name. Shonak.
Yeah.
Saw the value of Shonak as a Jaffa and what she was able to achieve. They set their egos aside in a way that a Goa'uld just couldn't do. I'm very curious. So in the episode, the whole point, right, was I as Jaffa can communicate with the little dude, the junior inside of me, can do it in a really deep state of Kelnarim, almost stopping my heart, like almost to death. I can get there and communicate. We got to share in Teal'c's vision with Junior, and it was the murder of his father by Kronos.
Yeah.
But Teal'c said a thing when he was describing his vision. He's like, I saw the murder of my father, my symbiote, or what it is. It has so much hate for me.
Yeah.
And he said it and it was just left. Fast forward to Tanith killing Shonak, and it's like, he literally just left her body.
Yeah.
Stayed with her beyond full maturity. Left her. They had a relationship. They'd been talking. And at his first opportunity, he killed her.
Yep.
So I'm just really curious about that relationship between like the symbiote in the Jaffa and like, do they hate them? Is that classist system of Goa'uld, God, Jaffa, soldier, and garbage, is that like kind of because they were incubated in them and they just have this innate hatred of them? I don't know.
Are you throwing that out just as a rhetorical question, or are you wanting like a response?
Right now it's a rhetorical question.
Okay.
I think in the future, give it an opportunity to whatever. And I think it will become a question for me because it is like we've talked about at length on this podcast, our other podcasts, the ability to other people when you lump them together. So you got Jaffa are just garbage but is it more personal than that? And I think that would add some real layers to the Goa'uld culture that would be fascinating to me. One thing that really bothered me is at the end, near the end, Jack's like, all right, so we got Tanith all set up. Let's get all that Goa'uld information. Let's figure it out. And Freya's like, nope, not going to happen. And then he takes off and then he kills Shonak and all this. If in that moment she was like, okay, yeah, let's do it. Let's sit him down and start getting this. He probably wouldn't have had a chance to pull this whole thing off. Also, they got a mole.
Have to keep up the ruse a lot more too.
A lot more, yeah. But now they got a mole in there basically, that they can use. And it sucks. It's so like zero sum total approach of just like, yeah, this sucks. That host, Hanar, or whatever his name was, sucks to be him. That's awful. Shonak, sucks to be her. Also, in the long run, like we can, win. We might be able to win this war because of this. So I got to do that tough math. I thought it was remarkable. And we've talked about this before.
I'm sorry, Jeff, if I may back up. You know what it really reminds me of as you say that? It reminds me of the whole thing in Babylon 5 with the telepaths. Were they simply created as cannon fodder for the Vorlon Shadow War? Were they, was it there anything more to them than just being cannon fodder? Was there anything more to everybody else than just like, so there's Hebron. Hebron's the name of the host.
Okay.
There's Shonak. Like, are they just cannon fodder in this thing between the Goa'uld and the Tok'ra?
Yeah.
And they're expendable. And yeah, it sucks, but they're expendable. It's not a big deal. He knew the risks.
Yeah. I don't think he knew it might be a Goa'uld. Like, we were pretty clear that he was going to be living the cool life with the Tok'ra.
Well, I would think that they said that they would have told him like, hey, listen, we've got this thing that's coming over. It's possible this could go bad the wrong way, but it's also possible that the benefits of this could be phenomenal if it's true.
Mm-hmm.
But it's probably not. And we'll try to rescue you if we can, but I don't know.
But I mean, too bad.
Yeah.
Now we've got our mole.
I think the only way for me to accept the idea of he knew the risks is if I was privy to the conversation of what risks he actually knew he was taking.
Agreed. Because when Jacob, agreed to take it on, we got to see some of that, and some of the back and forth.
Well, and Selmak had been a Tok'ra for thousands of years,
right?
Presumably,
total known quantity and everything, as opposed to, well, like there's this lady here who, Jeff watching this show thinks actually is trying to take down the Tok'ra. So maybe we should be oh shoot, you do want to take us down. Dang it.
Right.
It wasn't the lady though. It was you. It was you. I found it remarkable. We've talked about it before. Just the sheer blind hatred that O'Neill has for the symbiotes. Doesn't matter if it's Goa'uld, doesn't matter if it's Tok'ra, if it's a snake, he hates it. And I mean, I'm not a fan, right? That's lumping an entire species and, painting them all with the same brush. Also, most of his experiences have been either Goa'uld trying to kill him or Tok'ra not quite being upfront and honest with him.
Right.
I get it a little bit, but I mean, like, there's that scene where she's like, bro, put down your gun. The transference is finished. Like, chill out. And he's like, I'll shoot this guy in a heartbeat. Like,
right. And his first words are, how do we know? How do we know?
Mm-hmm.
How do we know?
This was an amazing Teal'c and Chris Judge episode. The character of Teal'c has to be such a challenge for Christopher Judge because he's so stoic, right? He's just so like his range of emotion is limited by his persona and his personality. So Christopher Judge has to emote at like such a subtle, powerful level to get really strong emotions across. His eyes, the puff of his cheek, in a certain scene, and he just nailed it in this episode. I felt nostalgia from him. I felt joy. I felt anger. I felt pure, sheer hatred and the want for revenge, all with his face. And like the way he physically carried himself, it was excellent. And my final thought on the thing is this Catherine Powers episode. I think that as far as endings go, this is Catherine Powers' best ending of an episode. Also, it was so long. Like,
it felt very long, did it not?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like we paused it at one point, and on our screen, I think you can see it too, but there's a little progress bar on the thing, like when we pause it, and we were like just barely over halfway done. And I thought we were like wrapping the episode. How is there, like, we've been watching this for so long. I don't know what it is about like almost every episode she's written, but the pacing in it is just really difficult to sit through. But this was a great story.
But let me ask you this though.
Yeah. What?
Is there a way that this episode could have been tightened? Like, could this have been a 30-minute episode stretched out over 44 minutes? I don't think so. Like, I'm trying to think of what you cut out of the rest of this episode. I mean, maybe you take out the whole Teal'c romantic side of it. Like, it's unnecessary.
And that's a few minutes though.
He could have the exactly. And he could have the same response even if they weren't romantically connected. So
I think there were three distinct parts of this story. There was Shonak comes in and is with the SGC and Teal'c, and we're figuring out that relationship.
Yeah.
Then there was the part the Tok'ra show up, and we're going to figure out how to, is this worthwhile to bring her on board and try this thing out. Then there was, we tried it and it's falling apart.
Yeah.
And each one of those parts were critical to the whole thing. And within, like, maybe you could have tightened up 2 minutes, 3 minutes of the episode.
That's what I mean. It felt long, but it was what it was. Like, there was a lot packed into it, but
so I'm not sure how I'd say to fix it, but like a couple times I was just like, I'm enjoying this. This is a good story. Also, how is it not over already?
I wonder how many people have ever felt that about our episodes, Jeff.
They're probably feeling it right now. I know I have. How are we still talking about this thing?
Right.
Speaking of talking about things a lot, we have a tracking board.
We do.
And we have no updates to that tracking board.
None.
It's been a while.
Shocked by that. Feels like it.
There were some good chances for it, but didn't happen. The next thing we're going to dive into, and I know you've got some stuff here. If you don't, I do. What kind of sci-fi messages did you find in
before
Crossroads?
we get there, we have a goddess check.
Yes, we do.
We have a goddess check. And I'm actually rather excited about this one because I went in and kind of, I did a little bit more research and I was like, oh, this is kind of neat. We heard the name. We didn't meet the person, but we heard the name Egeria, the mother of the Goa'uld. Presumably all the Goa'uld out there are siblings at one point, which just think about this. You have a single Goa'uld. I'm sorry, not Goa'uld. I meant Teal'c. But you have a single Goa'uld who one day goes, you know what? Maybe we're not all that. They're the black sheep of the family. Then they go off and have a bunch of babies. And remember genetic memory in the Goa'uld. They just think the way their mom thinks. They're just weird. Like, it's not that they're good. They're weird because their mom was weird.
Yeah. They're just carrying it on, the genetic memory. Yeah, this is who we are.
What's her deal? Where is she? All right. So Daniel says that Egeria was the Roman goddess of fountains and childbirth and an advisor to Numa Pompilia, I think is how you say his name.
Okay.
All right. That's like, I'm going to give that like 2.5 out of 3. All right. So let's talk about it. Egeria was a water nymph, according to Roman mythology. Not quite a goddess, water nymph, certainly very associated with Diana or Artemis from Greek mythology, very associated there, which is ideally where the whole childbirth things comes from, because that's apparently something with Artemis. But she was supposedly the divine consort, which if you familiar with what the word consort means. And counselor to the second king of Rome.
Okay.
Now we're talking like 650 to 700 BC. We're nowhere near the Roman Empire right now. We're nowhere near, like, I don't even know if they're speaking Latin yet. Like, this is not Caesar. This is you had Romulus, the dude Romulus, who founded the city, right? And then the next guy, the second king, right?
Okay.
So that's how far back the mythology of this piece goes. To this day, by the way, Egeria is an eponym. Like it's a word that means a female advisor, a female counselor. Think Deanna Troi. She would be an Egeria to Captain Picard.
Okay.
All right.
Okay.
Like I said, very minorly connected to childbirth, and even that only just because of the whole water thing, like birthing fluid. But she really is more known for her fountains, sacred groves, but one fountain specifically I'll talk about in a second. And she's known for giving out wisdom and prophecy to anyone who brings her an offering of milk or water.
Okay.
In her sacred groves. All right. Now, as Daniel said, according to mythology, she was the advisor and consort to Numa Pompilia, the second king of Rome. And it was him who actually wrote down the original framework for the laws and rituals that would govern Roman society.
Wow.
So kind of like Moses, like, here are the rules. Right. And the paintings are, and the way the mythology goes is basically she dictated to him and he wrote them down.
Okay.
So they came from her.
She was the burning bush.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Now, later when he died, he was buried with those writings. And as time went on, like the next 500 years, society grows, it evolves. The politics of the region are not necessarily what they were when they first started, and they actually rediscovered these laws they rediscovered these writings that Numa Pompilia wrote, assuming he's a real person, I guess. And the story basically is that the law, when they read the laws as they were originally given down, they were so dangerous and so destructive to the way that Roman politics of the day worked that the Caesar or whatever, or whomever, the Senate, whoever it was, ordered that they be completely destroyed and no one was to ever know what was actually in them.
Wow.
Because it's like, no, this is not going to help us at all. Like this is, we are not in this way right now. So were they better? Were they worse? I don't know. But anyway, now it was said that when Numa Pompilia, when he died, she was so heartbroken, she melted into tears and thus became one of the main 7 water sources for the fledgling Roman society.
All right.
A spring of some name. I can't tell you. And so there is the goddess of fountains. She literally became, and the water nymph thing and all that sort of stuff. So
that's cool.
That's who Egeria was in real Earthling mythology.
Yeah. And like she put out the law and set things up, which would line up with like, we have an existing law, Goa'uld, and I'm like, this isn't good, so now I'm going to create this new thing.
Yeah,
the Teal'c, but this one and also is living in secrecy. Yeah. And also the Goa'uld find it, and they're like, we're going to kill it. And so like there are some loose parallels between the real story and what we saw in this one.
And hey, listen, we haven't seen them for 2,000 years. That puts us right around like 0. You know, kind of in and around that area, which means that this whole stuff with her happens like 700 years before that with the anyway.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Yeah, it's interesting.
Anyway. All right. You asked about
sci-fi messages. Real quick, you were very concerned about Bray'tac throughout the course of this episode. Yeah, that's exactly what the heck happened to Bray'tac. She convinced Bray'tac and he thought it was a good idea, so he sent her there and Bray'tac couldn't come. Also, Tony Amendola wasn't available for shooting in this episode. Yeah, I think that's what happened. That's what I got for you. Scheduling's not good. We'll give you a name drop and see you next time. Right. Here's a question that I have, and I've always had this, and this has never been answered. The symbiote of Teal'c, or was it Shonak? The symbiote showed a memory of Kronos. Yeah, that's Junior. It's Teal'c's. Right. Do we remember where Teal'c got his? Here's the thing. Do we remember where Teal'c got his current symbiote from? I don't. Was it Kronos? No, Daniel. Didn't Daniel, like, they were on a mission to Teal'c the last time they met Bray'tac, and Daniel had a jar, and Teal'c had to give his symbiote to Bray'tac, and Teal'c got the new thing from the Temple of Apophis where Shonak lived. Oh, wow. Goa'uld have genetic memory. So therefore, if the symbiote showed Teal'c Kronos killing Teal'c's father, not Apophis, Kronos, does that mean that this particular Goa'uld larva is a child of Kronos? Wow. Yeah. And Teal'c's and if so, why is a child of Kronos' symbiote at the Temple of Apophis? This whole disinformation mole thing might be a little more ubiquitous. Just saying. Question I've always had. I've never. All right. Anyway, you know what I did see in here that I've never ever seen before in my life? What's that? A couple messages. Oh, well, never seen them before. Yeah, never seen them. I've never looked for them. I never looked that hard. I was like, it's this episode. Let's move on. Anyway, there is this spot. This is one that I just found was. Well, let me do the second one first. We talked about it just a moment ago. The Tok'ra are completely willing to sacrifice Hebron specifically, and even Shonak. Yeah. But it was Hebron with the explanation of, well, he knew the risks. Got this, and you kind of, they're not wrong. They're at war. Jeff, this is where I'm going to pull my Trekkie card. As Trekkies, we know, and we detect to sacrifice the one simply because you're at light and you just call them cannon fodder. That is gross. That is disgusting. That is immoral. And that should not be. And the Tok'ra are perfectly willing to do that because that's where that is. You bring this into the real world. Are governments willing to sacrifice individuals for some greater purpose? Sure. All the time. Doesn't make it right. Does not make it right. And I think when I look at holding up a mirror to society, it kind of shows the ugliness of that. Also, kind of the, how do we be better to one another? How about by not doing that? Right. Yeah. Honor Hebron. Right? Yeah. I think of King was it T'Chaka? T'Challa's father, Black Panther. Okay. Yeah.
From Marvel.
Mm-hmm.
His whole thing talking about the Avengers and all that sort of stuff. If you guys haven't seen it, whatever, but he's talking about how like the Avengers go out and through their actions, other people are getting hurt. And they're like, yeah, but it's not us. It's the bad guys. It's like, yeah, but you're pushing them into that area. Like, like you still have to care for the civilian. You can't hold them accountable. Anyway, there's that whole piece. The one that I found way more chewable, mind chewing to me, was there's a spot where Freya looks at Shinnok and says that if she has truly learned how to communicate with her symbiote, then she says, then your life is more important than any of ours. And I thought that was really profound, considering the fact that you have a Goa'uld effectively saying to a Jaffa, your life is more important than mine. I think when you talk about a hope for a better future, hopefully a mirror to society, maybe a mirror for how society should be. How do we be better human beings to one another? Jeff, I think when you look at the history of mankind, when you have certain groups of people who think that they're so superior to others, everyone else is trash, to be able to look at them and go, for whatever reason they say, no, your life is more important than mine. With no qualifier. No, well, for a Jaffa, or even though I'm a Goa'uld and you're a Jaffa, you're like, none of that. It's just, no, your life is more important than mine. That struck me as very profound, that it was I don't want to say colorblind. That's not the right phrase, but it was a blind look. It was a dispassionate look. Like, no. If you can do this, then that is more important than what we've got. We've got to preserve that in you. We've got to preserve you, and that was struck me as huge. Now you converse that to the way the Goa'uld treat their own kind. We saw Kronos twice in this episode reach into Teal'c's dad's pouch and crush his fellow symbiote that's in that thing just to punish the Jaffa.
Just to torture him. To make him
saw
hurt.
Tanith. Presumably, that's what he did to Shinnok. They will kill each other and not even blink an eye at it. That's how little they think of other beings, right? Much less the Jaffa and the humans and whomever else. And you think of what I think is just one of my favorite episodes, Pretense, the whole trial, and you've got the guy who's sitting there, he's like, well, what about cattle? We view you as cattle. Such disdain, just yeah. So I love that. It doesn't really give us an answer outside of just here's where it is. What's the intentionality of it? I don't really care what the intentionality of it is. I love that as a message. Was it what the thrust of the episode was all about? No, but it was there, and it was in pretty plain sight. Jeff, I'm giving this one 4 chevrons.
4. Okay. I'm gonna push
sound
back.
like you want to. You sound like you want to stump.
I do. I want to take yours, and then I also have an additional one that I picked up. So yes, Shinnok had a thing that made her more valuable than the Tok'ra's life, right? I want to take it a step further and say, what if it didn't have to be a thing? What if they just recognized the importance and dignity of someone else's life? Or what if we did? You don't have to bring something to the table. You're another human. And so your life is at least as valuable as mine, if not more, depending on how you view your servant status or whatever. So I think that the message that's in that scene, that moment goes more deeply to just, recognizing the agency and importance and dignity that any being brings by virtue of being alive. But there was a thing when Shinnok was talking about her relationship as she began to commune with who we learn as Tanith. And she said the images started with anger and horror and hate. Like they were just these intense, horrible visions. But she kept going back. And over time, then they became sorrowful. And then they became, had other emotions, and it formed what she believed was a connection between them. And I was really struck on how most people have that hateful interaction with someone or an angry interaction with someone and they're out. I'm done. I don't want to deal with that. She went back and she continued having the relationship and communicating and was able to, until the end when we find out what was really going on, but up to the moment was able to like connect with this other being. They couldn't even communicate in language, and they built what she believed was a connection because she didn't write it off at hate or at anger. And that's a way we can be better as people. Brent, there is humiliating and horrifying amount of hate in the world today and yesterday. I don't want to say like this is a new thing. We've had it, for forever. We're much more aware of it now than we have been before, but there's a tremendous amount of hate. Could you imagine what it would look like if we recognized the dignity and value of the human life that is choosing to hate? So going back to that, and didn't just write them off at hate and anger. And could we connect? I don't know. I'm one guy thinking a thing, but you know what it wouldn't do is create groups that just oppose each other at their core. There'd be at least the opportunity for some sort of connection like Shonak built with Tanith. So I see this one. I think 4 is fair. I would put this one closer to 5 myself, but also I might be digging and adding a lot of my own interpretation to this.
I mean, you hand me a Star Trek message when you say that though, Jeff. How is it that we get past all of our with each other? Is it firing weapons and punching each other? No, it's communicating, listening, sitting down and talking, finding common ground with each other. Of course, we know that Tanith completely betrayed that and he was pulling a ruse the entire time. And you know what? I think there's a great lesson in that, okay, let's have this conversation, Jeff. Okay. I think you could delete everything else we've just said and start right here. You ready?
All right.
Okay. Was everything that Shonak went through worth it? Even though it didn't turn out right, even though it turned out awful with Tanith and how he was just pulling, he was manipulating her from the very beginning. But was it worth it to go through that process for the chance that someone could come around?
You have to try.
That more could come around. Even though this one didn't work out.
Will the next one? Will one of them? Will something happen? And it's difficult to answer that question having just seen like the extent of what we saw. Yeah. But I got to believe it was worth it. If nothing else, just to try.
I think that's a huge what we would call the Star Trek message, right? It's not the Star Trek message. But listen, yeah, you've got to give it a shot. Is it possible it could go wrong? Is it possible they could be using you? Is it possible this is never going to work? The answer is yes. But it is the fight that is worth it. It is the chance to be able to do it before you go to phasers or photon torpedoes or staff weapons or PPGs or
Zat guns.
Yeah. Before you go to any of that, it is worth it to try to make something happen. It's worth the risk. And in that way, the idea that Hebron knew the risks, yeah, it's possible. Yeah, it's possible this could all go belly up. And if it does, then that sucks. But the reward, what did Hebron say? The rewards are great. I don't know what the exact phrase was. He said they're remarkable. If this thing happens, we've got to give it a shot. And that feels like a very Captain Picard type thing to say. So
it really does.
What is it? But again, was that where they were trying to go with the message? Is that what the show was trying to be about? It's right there though. It's right there on the surface. And I think we could do a whole thing on that. Jeff, I'll meet you in the middle and go 4.5 chevrons.
Love it. I think that's perfect.
Well, Jeff, I do something called a rating. You, my friend, get to do the ranking where you get to take these episodes, you get to put them in order. Season 4 of Stargate SG1, you get to rank these. This is your 100% completely immutable, definitive ranking. Currently, you have 3 on the list. You got Small Victories at number 1, Upgrades at number 2, and The Other Side at number 3. Jeff, where are you throwing in Crossroads?
Not going to mince words on this one. And it's tough. I have a hard time. These are all great episodes. This is going to be number 3. This is going to go right below Upgrades, right above The Other Side.
All right.
And I think a lot of it just because of the conversation we had. I'll be honest, this was going to be number 4 for me at first, but I think us talking it through and what's underneath the surface brought this one.
I got to be honest, my personal preference of watching these episodes, this is still number 4.
I would rather watch The Other Side. Yes.
Yeah. This is not an episode I like to come back to very often. I was not looking forward to coming into this particular episode because it's this episode. Okay, fine. But I will tell you, my respect for this episode has gone off the charts compared to what it was walking into this episode because of being able to watch it through this lens.
Agreed. Yeah. And just having the conversation afterwards, it's an entirely different look.
There you go. And that's why we do this. Hopefully, you folks out there, you've had a similar experience. Why don't you write into us and let us know? You can hit our contact form at our webpage, wherever that is. Check the stuff down in the link below.
Yeah.
You'll be able to catch it there. But send us in and let us know, what are your thoughts on this episode? Did your respect for it go up just through our conversation? What conversations have you guys had about it? Anyway, Jeff, that's going to do it for us here for Crossroads. Next week, we're watching an episode called, stay with me here, Divide and Conquer.
Divide and Conquer.
Jeff, what do you think Divide and Conquer could be about? Pull it out of the air, my friend.
Divide and Conquer is going to be an episode of the week.
Okay.
We're going to a planet and it's going to be a battle of some kind, right? I mean, this is going to be kind of a more generic episode, I think. And
that's a generic prediction too.
It is
a generic prediction for a generic episode, Jeff.
We've had a number of, all the episodes so far have like moved forward lore or overarching storylines a little bit. And that's not SG1's bag. And so I think this one's going to be kind of a return to form. And we're going to walk into a hostile situation and help. I think the prediction part of it is they're going to provide some sort of military strategic leadership to some group on the planet they end up going to.
Okay. That's the thing you got to say is they're going to a war and they're going to provide some sort of leadership to another whatever.
Another somebody. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Well, Jeff, we'll find out next time right here on Stargate SG1 for the first time. Hey, you guys out there, thank you so much for joining us, sticking through us with this whole show. Listen, don't forget to subscribe wherever you get your podcast, your YouTube, your videos, your audio books, whatever it is. Be sure to subscribe to us there. And please, please, please leave us a rating and review. What's a review?
Refute.
A Varu. Anyway, leave us a rating and review. And if you really want to help us out, the absolute best way you can do that is go over to Patreon and give us all your money. No, I'm just joking. Actually, the very best way you can do that is by sharing the show with somebody that you know that loves Stargate SG1, or maybe somebody who, like Jeff over there, needs to get into Stargate for the very first time. So with that, I'm going to get out of here. My name's Brent. That's Jeff.
Brent.
Yes, Jeff.
We had a little bit of some hiccups in recording this one. Do you think that you could share your template for editing these things with me?
Yeah, I can do that. Probably not right now though.
Not right now?
Yeah.
Jesus, dude, every freaking time, you and the Teal'c both, like, maybe for once, just try working with somebody, dude. I mean, come on.
For crying out loud.
I actually forgot to look for an ending in that episode.
I forgot that it was coming up, and I was really glad you wrote it in the note. I was like, oh. And then I was really glad that, hey, the note is connected, because we had to change our note system. The note's connected, so what you write in there actually comes over. So,
it shows up.
Yeah,
it's pretty darn good. Yeah, we started talking. I'm like, oh, shoot, I got to end this thing.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, I enjoy spending time with everyone every time, but I have some stuff I got to get to. So we should probably wrap this up.
You go take care of that beautiful little girl. And I'm going to get out of here too, because you guys don't want to just hear me talk. Jeff's the cool one. I'm not. All right, we'll get out of here.
I don't know that either one of us are cool. Let's be honest here.
Bad nerds. All right. Bye, guys.
See ya.